Good evening, or good morning. Anyway, I'd like to share a story with you. A little bit of a history. When I was going to college, I noticed some things starting to change just about the time that Obama got into office. I noticed the curriculum started pushing some interesting agendas which seemed to point towards things like socialism and a one world government, eugenics policies like depopulation or controlling the population moreover. It seemed to push for big government. I mean, I even talked with my counselor of my school and asked, said that it seems like they're pushing a socialist agenda, and she said, well, I'm socialist. To me, this seemed very scary because, well, the Nazis were socialist, and almost every socialist nation in the world has usually had a government that becomes a tyranny, which is actually the antithesis of the American way, being that the government is ruled by the people, not the people are controlled by the government. Well, other things I thought were interesting was that they said Jesus was a myth. This was in our myth and symbolism class, and they redefined the meaning of the word myth. Myth was supposed to be a tale or story spread through culture, and not necessarily the actual meaning of the word myth, which we know means a story that's not true. So they were going to reinvent the word myth to be a story that is told throughout a culture, and this was going to be associated with Jesus Christ. I think it's convenient, once you've gotten everyone on board with this, to switch back to the original meaning of the word myth. I mean, we've all heard people say before, well, that's just a myth. Would that mean, well, that's just a cultural story? Well, lots of things are cultural stories. History is a cultural story. So, just because it's been recorded differently, maybe before we've had things such as cameras and film, it does not mean that it's not true. For instance, when police show up, they get many eyewitness testimonies of what's been happened, and if there's enough testimonies from several different people, that could be used as credible evidence. So when you have thousands of people around the world reporting this, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's just something like a made-up story. Moreover, they ended up pushing a lot of us to understand different, what some people would say, pagan religions. They seem to be more interested in showing us that Jesus is a myth and getting us to understand Horus and Isis and Set stories from Egyptian culture, which to me seems like Illuminati. Yes. I think what's most interesting is that this is an art school where we're supposed to create media for the world. If you look at what media is out there, you see that this is a hidden agenda. If you do know enough history, especially if you look into your Bible, you'll find things that talk to you about this, which sounds a lot like the Antichrist. Anyways, it's just my thoughts. Curious to see if anybody else has seen some of this themselves.